On my channel, I get to do cool things such as just wake up in the morning, turn on my camera, and share what I'm up to. That's homemaking, specifically in the kitchen. It's food, it's bread, it's homeschool, it's cleaning, it's all that really great stuff. But every little bit, I do like to come on here and not just film what I'm up to in my day, but speak to something very specific. And for today's video, I thought I would speak to the mama who's feeling overstimulated. I've done some videos like these where I talk about homemaking just being hard in general. I've talked about homemaking even just being frustrating, but I thought, oh man, if there is something that I have constantly lived with and dealt with since having my first baby, it really is being overstimulated. So a bit of a backstory. I had my first baby when I was quite young. She was in and out of the hospital a little bit, and then when I brought her home, I remember being so excited, but within 24 hours of bringing her home, she was sad. She would scream and cry. Everyone told me this is normal. She's colicky. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is normal? From the sound of her cries to everything I had to do to even sensory stuff. I'm leaking breast milk everywhere. I am changing diapers. I am touching things I have never touched or dealt with before. The to-do list, all this stuff, I felt overstimulated, especially with her cries and screams. So I dealt with this very early on into my mothering journey. If you are new here, I have 5 kids now. I went from a point of being overstimulated at least a dozen times a day to now maybe being overstimulated once every week or even every week or so. And I also want to say that being overstimulated really comes from your natural environment. When you have young kids, you have a busy house, this is just stuff that you're going to have to deal with. This is not a video that is going to fix you being overstimulated, because first thing you need to know, being overstimulated is not a bad thing. It's actually your body working things very well. But it can obviously be frustrating and super debilitating in your everyday stuff. So this is hopefully going to help you. I just have some tips, some ideas, some things that you can try, things I wish I knew in the beginning. And while I'm sharing all this, you're joining me for a bit of a bake day. I had some homeschool that I want to get started with the kids. They have independent learning. I have some fermented sourdough berry muffins going into the oven. And now I'm getting started on sourdough discard chocolate chip cookies. So let's talk about what it is to be overstimulated. So when you're going about your day, you're receiving certain things through your senses, through touch, feel, sound, sight, even taste. You're receiving all this stuff through your senses, and then your senses take that and put it to your brain. But when you become overstimulated, your senses are pretty much just overloaded with information, with feel, with connectivity to everything happening around you, and it brings it to your brain, and your brain says, we can't process this. And it will usually come in a way just practically where I feel foggy. It is hard for me to think. It is hard for me to sometimes physically move. Kieran can see it, and so can the kids. I'll start blinking heavily. I'll start moving my head kind of side to side. I also freeze, but at the same time, I'm stretching out my hands and my fingers. That is my body's reaction to being overstimulated. It's almost like I'm trying to reset on in my body and in how I am feeling, and I'm trying to function again, but it's difficult. Something I want you to consider before you even get overstimulated and just really have this type of thinking in your head is when you are overstimulated, that does not make you a bad mama, and being overstimulated in itself is not bad. When there are things happening in our environment, we can't help but sense it, and our body can't help but react to it. So really, your first course of action is to stop blaming yourself for your environment and the way that your body reacts to it. It's kind of like if you have a plant and your plant is dying, you don't blame the plant itself for dying. You look to the soil, you look to the watering, you look at where it's set. Is it in the sun or the shade? And then you go forward and go, okay, how can I help this plant? I want you to think the same with yourself. I am overstimulated. It is not my fault. It is not bad, but it's because of my environment and maybe even just this phase in my life. What can I do to help myself in my environment now? sponsoring this portion of today's video. P.S. I'm a mom. I'm a mom of 5. I run my own business. Life is crazy and I sweat like crazy. And that is why I take Element every single day. It's an electrolyte drink. It's super delicious. It's full of everything you want and not full of anything you do not want, which basically means a lot of salt and no sugar. Did you know that every time you sweat, the main electrolyte your body is losing is actually sodium? When sodium is not replaced, your body's not happy. You're gonna experience things like headaches, muscle cramping, fatigue, stuff you just don't wanna live with. And Element can help with that. And one of the reasons I really like it is it helps with my fatigue throughout the day. And electrolytes in general just facilitate a bunch of things that happen throughout your body, from hydration to regulating hormones, and even helping your body to absorb nutrients better. And it seriously tastes amazing. No sugar, no gluten, no coloring, no artificial ingredients. Seriously, just all the good stuff. It has a science-backed ratio in here: 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. Right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with their order. This gives you the ability to try some different flavors and even share some with a friend. Get yours at drinkelement.com/Sarah Therese. That's drinklmnt.com/Sarah Therese. An easy way to get there is just by clicking the link down below. I do want to give you some insight on what I'm doing. So my chocolate chip cookies are in the fridge. I always let those hang out in the fridge for hours before I plan on baking. And then I'm making some sourdough butter herb crackers. I'm letting those sit for a little bit and enjoying my muffins that just came out of the oven. These are my favorite. They're so good. If I can find the recipes to some of these that are already up in video form, I will link them down below. This I want to share with you because this was life-changing for me when it came to me being overstimulated. And it may not be for everyone, but wow, it really changed things for me. I decided that every time I was overstimulated, I would verbally say it out loud. I would put a word to my feelings. So do you remember, or you've had it in the past where you have a pain or an issue with your body and you don't know what's going on? You go to the doctor and they say, oh, this is what it is. And they give you a name, and you already actually experience healing in knowing what's going on with your body just by having a name to your symptoms. I want you to do the same thing with you being overstimulated. When you are about to be, or you are overstimulated in a moment, say it out loud. I'm overstimulated. Don't be ashamed to let your kids hear that or know that. If you are a mama like me and you have multiple kids of multiple ages, you will actually experience your other kids being overstimulated as well. And this is helpful for them. I think so much of the time we think we as mamas are the only ones being overstimulated, where really there's a lot of little people at our feet who are also experiencing this, and it's good for them to also have a word to their symptoms. Another reason I like to say I'm overstimulated out loud, it isn't just for myself and my awareness, but for my family. I love that in our family unit, we can bless each other by helping each other be aware of what we're going through. I really love our family to be open and honest with each other. And to be honest, it really starts with you, mama. If you are open and honest about how you feel and what's going on with yourself, it's good for your kids to see that. They'll be more vocal when they are feeling a certain way. And then they will also be able to care for you in really beautiful ways. And that opens up some doors for sympathy, care, attentiveness. These are great tools you can give to your kids, and it's starting here in the home. Right here, I am rolling out my sourdough crackers in between some parchment paper and getting it super, super thin. We're gonna enjoy these over the next couple days with some lunches and snacks. These are delicious. I think I even whipped up that next day some roasted red pepper peanut butter hummus to go alongside these. I just knew very early on, if I was getting overstimulated from my environment, I shouldn't think that I'm the only one. And I should also give everyone in the home the ability to know what I'm going through, because we're a family, and to also give each other the ability to take care of themselves. So even at this point, I have my kids saying, I'm having anxiety, or I'm feeling scared, and they're really open with it, because we just teach. Even mama and papa can say, I'm overstimulated, I'm having a hard day. This is good stuff for us to communicate our emotions, and that's really the first step into healing and even overcoming in a lot of ways. That has been the most helpful thing for me. It is so simple, but I really recommend say it out loud. use this as a family tool to speak how we feel and to share our emotions with each other, and then also help each other deal with what they are going through. Because that's a family unit, right? If I fail in one way, what's really cool is that I've probably given birth or married someone who can deal with it in much better ways and take care of me, and I can take care of them. What a beautiful kind of circle that we can enjoy and work through every single day. I am making a green smoothie. Yes, I still do these. I actually do these quite a bit the past since having my 5th baby, because I got so low on iron. I've been doing smoothies with protein, my wheatgrass shots. They're full of iron, a little bit of spinach, and then I also add in my iron supplement. And this is just a huge iron kick. And it also gives me good energy, and I feel like Superwoman when I have this. Here are some practical tips from your friendly neighborhood mom. I found when I was getting overstimulated with my baby, I needed to get out of my house. And it wasn't just for me, it was also for my baby. P.S. If you have a baby that is colicky and everyone says it's normal, don't listen to them. If your baby is well fed, sleeping, and has a clean bum, they shouldn't be screaming at the top of their lungs all day. I went to a prenatal chiropractor. We realized she actually had a spine issue, and things like the car seat, laying down, and feeding were extremely painful for my baby. Once we got those fixed, she was completely different, and it really helped me in being less overstimulated throughout my day, because it was her screaming that really made me feel overwhelmed. So that's a little bit of a tip there for you. But during the times where I would just be overstimulated, whether she was all fixed and wasn't screaming and crying through the day, or she was just teething and going through some times, just because you're a stay-at-home mom doesn't mean you need to stay at home. I encourage you, get out of that house. Fresh air is good for you and your baby. Fresh air is a reset. Being outside is a reset. There's actually something that happens in our brains when we go from one place to another that resets us on a mental and emotional level. So if you are feeling overstimulated, even something as simple as leaving the kitchen and going to the bedroom, or leaving the bedroom and going to your deck, this is helpful. And this is a small way where you can beat an overstimulation attack, or just even in the midst of it, try to calm yourself and cool yourself down. I know it's hard in the midst of it because you just feel like you're in a fog. And if you find when you're overstimulated, you're in that type of a blank thinking space, what I used to do was, on a sticky note, I would write down step by step what I can do when I get overstimulated. And that was helpful just to refer to, because sometimes it's hard for you to think past it. I also find certain clothes can help you be less stimulated. So in my dress here, you can see Edmund is actually playing. This can be very, very overstimulating for some people. I know a lot of mamas love to wear dresses and skirts, but I've had some moms tell me they can't wear them anymore because it's overstimulating to have something that is easily pulled by their kids, or that their kids can play with or whatever, and they would prefer to wear jeans or pants. So even right down to the clothes you wear can overstimulate you, and that's something that you can be aware of when you get dressed in the morning. For me, I don't get as overstimulated from touch as much as I used to. It's definitely sound for me, and it can also just be what I am looking at. So something I really like to do is I have a stool in the kitchen, and I will sit on the stool and I will take a tea towel or fold up my apron and put it on my face. It is almost as if I'm just shutting out the world for a bit. This is an amazing time to pray. This is an amazing time to close your eyes, take a breather. I love the stories that I hear about grandmas in the kitchen taking their aprons and flipping them up over their faces and just taking a breather. Do the same. It is not easy to find rest and time to slow down during the day, and sometimes if that's all you can get, it is a precious, beautiful, almost luxurious time that you can really take advantage of. And it's good for your kids to see it too, that even mama, she needs to slow down. If they see an apron or a towel over your head, over time, if you train them, they'll know to respect that time and give you some space and even privacy. When kids see a towel over my head, they will usually clear the area because they know, as I've trained them, I'm overstimulated, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overworked, I need a minute. And it's beautiful that I have even come into my kids' rooms and they have a blanket or a towel over their heads, and I know exactly what they need and how they're feeling. Maybe you're like me and you get overstimulated from sound. If I tell the kids I'm feeling overstimulated, the first thing they do is turn off music and they quiet down, and a lot of the time they will go to another place in the house. You can actually see I'm struggling with a bit of being overstimulated here. I squint my eyes and kind of move my head back and forth. I love that my kids know that sound can really affect me, so they help me there. I also do wear earbuds. If I'm solo parenting, Kieran is not home, I have this hear through mode on, so I can hear if anything is happening or if something needs my attention. If he is home, then I have no issue with just having it full on blasting. I can't hear anything beyond because he is aware of that and he can help if something's going on, and he can be kind of attentive to the kids' sounds and stuff. But those are very helpful, whether they are on hear through or not. Just having something that you like that you can focus on is really lovely, and it pulls off your focus on maybe other things that maybe you're doing physically or thinking or feeling. And it is, again, a bit of that reset that just kind of keeps resetting you for as long as you're listening to it. I also want to encourage you to find a mama or a group of mamas that can help you hear. Sometimes when I'm feeling overstimulated or I've had a day, I can call a friend, I can send video messages, a text, and it's just a time of encouragement and thoughtfulness and prayer. I want to also encourage you, when you're feeling overstimulated, just really breathe. Holding my breath is normal for me to do when I'm overstimulated, so intentional breathing is great. Write down your feelings, journal it, pray it out to the Lord. He knows your needs and He will provide everything that you need. So be gracious with yourself, take some time for yourself, and I'm super proud of you. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!